Alright guys, welcome back to week 9 of me trying to be profitable. So this week was honestly a massive week for learning, and I attribute that majority of that to doing more journaling and reading and thinking, developing my mental more during the latter half of the week. And it was really insightful to learn what I've learned this week, and I hope you guys learned something from this video too. But yeah, enough dilly-dallying, I'll just get straight into it. Alright, so for today I was overall looking for a target to these prominent highs since price just filled out these high time imbalances down here. 4 alpha value gap was filled, and then the 1 hour order blocks were still being developed into a bullish trend. And during market open, price came down pretty heavily, and it took out all of these LRLs that were made during the move up. And I figured it could take out these LRLs before moving up to the prominent buy side ERLs. And I was waiting to see what would happen in this area since price was already respecting a downtrend in the lower time frame. And I thought I could try going for a short down to the reversal point. Price created an overlap with a 3-minute fair value gap and a 1-minute BPR, which I was watching. My confirmation would have been if price tapped into the imbalance overlap and then continued lower, creating a confirmation bearish candle. And price did come up and tap into the 3-minute fair value gap, but I really wanted to see that BPR get filled in as well, and it was part of my confirmation criteria after all. So yeah, price came really close, but I didn't consider a tap because it was like right on the edge of the imbalance, so I didn't enter into the shorts. It was working out pretty well for shorts for a little bit, but then volume died out and price started chopping quite a bit, so I wasn't really focusing on the charts much at this point, which I would say was a very big mistake. I kept waiting and watching for a bit, aiming to keep an open mind because I could expect price to run in either direction, and I ended up taking this long, which did meet my criteria. It disrespected this 3-minute fair value gap and re-tapped back into it. Price also created LRLs to the buy side, plus swept out a majority of the sell side liquidity, so I wanted price to reverse since it filled in those high term imbalances and it swept out liquidity, so pretty much filling in the criteria for a bullish trade that I was thinking of at the start to take out the prominent ERLs. And I really shouldn't have taken this trade, one because volume was already dead from the big move down at the start of the session, and two because I exceeded my max trading hours. So I pretty much have a max trading time that I set, so pretty much between pre-market and 2:30 to 3 a.m. my time, so I can actually get some sleep and keep my routine in check. And I would say that I definitely chased into this trade, and I shouldn't have. I was already preparing to hop off. It was like 2 minutes before 2:30, so I was about to hop off at that time because I had work the next day, and I knew that volume was already dying out, and I clearly knew that it would have been fine to just hop off. So it was a really stupid mistake on my part. It's been a bit since I traded as well, so looking at how market moves wouldn't have been a bad idea either, just so I could get more accustomed to it again. And I ended up just bailing for this trade for a loss of $100. So yeah, not the greatest start to the week, but hopefully tomorrow's a little bit better. Alright, so looking at the charts, we just swept out a daily prominent high, so I'm expecting a pullback before price eventually moves higher. There were hella LRLs from market chopping up to sweep out the daily highs, so a reversal could be pretty likely since there was so much liquidity to grab. But I want to be patient and let price show me what it wants to do, then I'll make my decision based on what market does. And price came up into this nice overlap of high time imbalances. The BPR within the 1 hour and 4 hour order blocks was a high key level that I was looking at, and I was just waiting to see what would happen at this level. So the 5-minute order block was disrespected and created a breaker, and price also created more imbalances to use like this 5-minute order block, which was technically also a 3 and 1 minute order block. And my thoughts are that price sweeps out the high and reverses, targeting the LRLs and using these imbalance overlaps as support to push lower. And if you're wondering why I'm risking 10 cons here, it's because I calculated my position with calc. Using 10 cons was the size that I was comfortable risking. Go open and price was looking fairly volatile, so I removed my order, and I figured I placed my entry for continuation rather than sniping it, where if a price pushed down then I'll enter, and I thought that was just safer since I wouldn't get hurt by spread. The price was showing really strong bullish power with no signs of stopping for a while, and I sat and kept waiting to see if price was showing signs of a reversal, but price was slowing down and chopping, even though on the 5-minute time frame, so I decided that I just wouldn't trade today. The conditions weren't probable and it was like too risky to trade, and so I just decided to go against it. Alright, so overall thoughts today was that price could move bearish. First thing I saw was this 4 hour inverse fair value gap developed during a pre-market, which overlapped with this 1 hour inverse fair value gap. This overlap of high temper imbalances could be pretty strong, and I could see price continuing bearish after it fills in these imbalances. There was also other confluences to back up the bias, like the pre-market high being within the 4-hour inverse value gap, which I reckon could be a sweep out for a reversal. So pretty much a London high sweep plus high temper imbalance fills into a development of bearish confluences plus the development of a lower high lower low bearish trend. And price was accumulating quite a bit at this point since there was quite a lot of high impact news tonight, so that was going to affect the way I was going to trade. I was going to give my trade a wider stop loss, so I'll most likely use less contracts depending on my size, and I'll calculate it again to see how many cons I will be comfortable risking. And either way, right now I'm just waiting to see what happened at the prominent level, and since price action was being pretty sneaky and decided to reverse before sweeping out the prominent high, it still didn't meet my criteria, so I was not going to trade it, but I decided to place a fox trade, which is kind of like a paper trade pretty much, and I just placed the entry here without actually entering. I was just curious to see what happened because it could have been a fail to break, and the trade was actually going pretty well. I kept waiting until eventually my max trading hours passed, so I ended up not taking a trade again, and the criteria I had was very clear. When it didn't get hit, I didn't force a trade, so I thought that was pretty good. Fox trade provided more insight into how the trade could have played out, and it was more engaging instead of just staring at a screen, so I think it was a good idea to just place fox trade in the future if I'm not sure about what price is going to do. And I will say that today was more learning for me because I had this criteria that I set which didn't get hit, but the criteria was born from a marriage of a bias for shorts. And I didn't see what market was intending to show me, which is the current move to take out the pre-market high. The conditions during that time was pretty clear for bullish, but I was too married to my bias and going forward, and decided I just wanted shorts, which wasn't coming at the time. Going forward, I need to be more unbiased and keep a clear mind when trading. Remember reacting instead of prediction, you know? Taking some time to get used to it though, because it is a bit of a process to learn that way. I'll learn to view the market that way, and it may come easier to some people, but it's taking me a little bit to understand, but at least I'm moving forward to, you know, developing that vision. Alright, so Friday. The goal today was to have no intentions or expectations. I just wanted to see what the market was doing. So starting off on the charts, I noted down the key levels that I saw currently, that being the pre-market highs, lows, and Asia high, and the previous day high. And I noticed that LRLs were present from the accumulation during London that price could use as a target. Though I want to be loose with it and just let my thoughts flow, not having too strong of a bias or either direction. And price was disrespecting the current imbalances that were being formed, this being coupled with market open and a sweep of a pre-market high, and I reckon we could head lower to a pre-market low since it was showing bearish potential. And I entered this trade on a 5-minute order block disrespect plus a 1-minute fair value gap overlap, and I decided to snipe the imbalances further. So I went on the 15-second and found 15-second time frame and found a fair value gap within the 1-minute fair value gap, which I targeted as my entry. And my criteria for this trade was for price to disrespect the imbalances and sweep out the pre-market high at least before moving down and targeting the high term imbalances plus LRLs. The criteria was met where it swept at the pre-market high and then started getting some nice bearish power, respecting the newly formed imbalances as it went. Though with all the confirmations, I still lost the trade. I took a small loss of around $100, and I think my problem was because I was too zoomed into this session and I was focused more on the 1 to 5 minute time frames. I did not account for price being in the bottom tick of a bullish trend retrace, and that was a mistake on my part. I will say I liked my mental a lot more today though. I managed to get more journaling and reading done during my break today, and it helped me get a better grasp of my inner self. Because of that, I didn't feel shit when the trade hit stop loss. I just accepted it as part of being a trader, and losses just comes as do wins. And I like that the quick execution that I pulled off today, where I didn't have to think much. I just hit my criteria and I was like, alright, boom, I'm entered. Gotta get more accurate reads to be honest, but I think I ended off this week on a good note, even though I took a loss. Alright, so this week went about as well as you could expect, you know. This week was really insightful as I learned more about my mental through the book Mastering the Mental Game of Trading. And I've been reading it on my breaks and digesting it through, you know, working. And honestly, the book helped me improve my mental a lot, and journaling on it and about it just really helped me out a lot. And learned that I can flow into trades well if I actually have proper routine beforehand, kind of like journaling a lot more about it throughout the day, so it's more in my mind. Doing journaling throughout the day too, just to remind myself of my purpose and why I do trading in the first place. And overall P&L this week was minus $209, so not too bad for losses either. Honestly, separating the intention and expectations from the trade on Friday was really eye-opening. I didn't think much at all when I lost, even though it meant I was losing money again this week. And I completely accepted the fact that it does happen, and it's just how my approach to trading works, especially when I'm learning right now. Losses are pretty common, and I'm expecting it to happen. I mean, I have to lose in order to win, right? And another thing I thought of was that at work, dealing with shitty customers is really common, and some of them are especially bad. But I right now my thinking is that it's God's plan, where He knows I want to improve my psychology and my mental, and becoming tougher in that aspect, if you get what I mean. So He puts me in an environment where I can grow that part of myself. And yeah, that's just the thought I had while working. But yeah, good week this week, honestly, and yeah, that's gonna be it for week 9. So thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day. Love you guys.